Let's have a recap on what inference is. So when we make inferences from the text, this is when we are making, well, it's when we make inferences from the text and explain or justify inferences using the evidence. So when we infer something, we almost have to kind of read between the lines. So we have to kind of form our own opinion based on the evidence in front of us. Okay. So where's my thingy? There it is. So it means that you pick up ideas from the text that are not always written. So like I just said, reading between the lines. So you've almost got to try and understand what the message might be, okay, using that evidence, because it's not always going to be written there clear as day, like retrieval in the text. So you've got to read the text as if you're a detective. So you're not looking for what's there. So you're not looking specifically for quotes and for direct lines from it, but you're looking for what's meant by it. So you might need to find a quote and then think, well, what does that quote mean? And that's where you need to think about your answer. For example, if the text said, Jenny's face was red, she wrinkled her brow and began to shout, we would think, well, how does that mean? How could we infer about how Jenny feels? It's a bit like your show, not tell. Well, we know when people are red, okay, and you furrow your brow, so you're frowning and you begin to shout. You tend to do these things when you're angry or you're cross, okay? So those are all that idea of association of what you already know, but you've almost got to use your show, not tell skills here, okay? So what I want you to do is pause the video. You should have a copy of this at home with you or at school. And I just want you to have a read of it, and we're going to answer some questions on it. Okay, so the first one here is we're going to be looking at a 3-mark question. I'm going to model one of these. Okay, you're not going to have a go at practicing one, but I'm going to show you how to model one of these examples. Okay, and then you guys might have a couple of these types of questions for your task at the end. So how is the beast made to seem mysterious? So I've highlighted my key skills here as how. So this is a how question, so we're looking for evidence to support. And we're talking about the beast and how it's been made to seem mysterious. So we need to explain 2 ways, okay, using evidence in the text. Now that usually suggests using 2 pieces of evidence from the text, okay? So the first bit I started off with was the beast is made to seem to sound mysterious. For example, the strange mixture of natural and mechanical, okay? So when we think of something that's part human, part beast, or part material, obviously part of him's natural for the beast that he is, but then the other part is made up of other types of mechanical parts. So obviously the beast was described as gargantuan. Now gargantuan means to be massive, okay, like a giant or to be gigantic. Now obviously the idea of the mix with the natural is they described him as looking like he had tree trunks for legs and all the leaves and the vines were intertwined in him. So it was that strange mixture of natural and mechanical because obviously it moves. So it was made of natural resources but moved as if it was a real life thing. Now I found another example in here, okay? So, trust it to do it backwards. So Bolse's reaction to the beast adds to the feeling of mystery because Bolseith could scarcely comprehend what stood before him, and he made a further discovery about the beast towards the end of the text. So I used another piece of evidence there because I said that it adds to the idea of how he feels, that personal reaction. He thinks it's weird as well because he could scarcely comprehend. We've looked at scarcely, means to hardly. When you comprehend something, you're doing comprehension right now. You're understanding what the text is about. So when he says he could scarcely comprehend, he could hardly understand. So he couldn't quite work out what it was that he was looking at. He didn't understand. He didn't get it, okay? Now, obviously, if it was something he was used to and it's something that wasn't strange or mysterious, he'd know exactly what it was and he wouldn't be feeling that way. But he has no idea what this walking tree trunk is that's coming towards him. But it also said here that he made a further discovery about the beast towards the end of the text. Okay, and it was another discovery that made the beast sound like it was very strange and very weird. So you can see in there I used my 2 different examples. Now I did almost like a point and an evidence. So I put that the beast is made to sound mysterious. That's my point. My evidence there is strange mixture of natural and mechanical. So I got a quote. My other piece of evidence I put in there was Bolseith's reaction to the beast adds to the feeling of mystery. So that's my point. I've got a human reaction and I've given evidence. And I've used a quote from the text. He could scarcely comprehend what stood before him and he made a further discovery. So that's what we call like point, evidence, explain. But here what I've done is I've used my point and my evidence. I've made my point, okay, and I've used the evidence to explain it. Okay, and that's how I get the 3 marks for those questions, okay? So what I want you to do is pause the video and can you have a go at doing this one for me? And we're going to have a go at answering another question. We need to think about this question here. So give 2 ways in which the author implies that Jared is quite young. Okay, so we're going to do this one together. So let's have a look at the keywords we've got on here then. So we need to give 2 ways, okay, that the author implies that Jared is young. So talking about his age, okay. So let's have a look at our text that we've got here, okay. Now, the first bit here says, he stretched and strained from his chair, smack bang between mum and grandpa to look out of the window. Now, I don't know if any of you have ever been on a plane, but when I was younger, although to be fair, I had 3 sisters, and because I was the oldest one, I didn't have to sit between my parents, because every time I used to be in the car, I'd always have to sit between my sisters because I was always physically the smallest one. So I was all right on the aeroplane, but I know my younger sister would always sit between my mum and dad, okay? Purely because that's where she was safer. And obviously she had then one parent on each side of her. Now it says here that Jared was smack bang between his mum and grandpa. So that there tells me that that's one of the reasons that suggests that he's young, because he's sitting between his parents. So he's sitting between his mum and his granddad, okay? Now it says further down here, it says he is simply too small to see through the tiny ovoid window. Now if he's too small, okay, unless there's a medical condition for him to be small so he can't see out the window, that would suggest to me that because of his height, he must be a child, and obviously children are quite young. If he was a teenager, he'd be a lot taller, so he'd be able to see out of that window. So my point number 1 was he was sat between his mum and dad. And my second point, he was too small to see out of the window. Okay, easy peasy. Okay, so that's just how you use the clues from the text to help you and support that answer. Now, you're going to go doing this one on your own. So I want you to pause the video, you have a copy of this at home, have a go at reading it, and then come back and we'll have a go at the question. Okay, so what evidence is there that the author had never visited this place before? So let's look at the keywords. We're looking for evidence. We need to find clues from the text to help us. And it's to prove that the author had never visited the place before. Okay, so looking for clues that it's their first time. Okay, we need to give 2 points to this. So, today on our maiden voyage, we journeyed along the most picturesque route. The scenery was unbelievable. Now, I don't know here, it says today on our maiden voyage. Now, I know this is one of my points to help me, but that's because I know what maiden voyage is. Now, if any of you ever studied the Titanic, okay, the Titanic set out on its maiden voyage, okay, from when it left from Southampton in Portsmouth, and then went off to Ireland, and then went off to America. Now, when something is their maiden voyage, it means it's the first time they've set out. So the Titanic set off on its maiden voyage. That was its first ever trip as a passenger cruise liner. And obviously it never got to the end of its first ever maiden voyage because it sank to the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean. But a maiden voyage means first voyage. Now it says here that the author's never visited this place before. Now it says here that it was their maiden voyage. It was the first time they journeyed along this route, okay? So my first point, it was their maiden voyage, okay? I know it's the first time they've gone in this direction because that clue there of maiden voyage means first journey, okay? Then it says further down here, it says, to the right, the rocky face of the crag ascended across the sky, towards the sky. So a crag is almost like a lip or an edge of like a mountain or a rock face. I couldn't crane my neck enough to see all the way to the top inside the car. Seeing it for the first time took my breath away. Now it says here, seeing it for the first time. It says here, what's the evidence that they've never visited it before? Well, if he'd visited before, it wouldn't be the first time he'd seen it. It would have said, oh, we see this every time we drive this route to go and see my grandma or whatever. So when it says seeing it for the first time, okay, that's the clue that it's the very first time he's seen it. So he's never seen it before up until now, okay? So my second point there is he says seeing it for the first time took his breath away, okay? So there's my 2 parts of that answer to suggest they've never been there before. Okay, so what I want you to do is have a go at some questions based on pages 128 to 131 that we've read today, okay? I'm not going to give you too many questions on this one because I'm going to give you the 3-mark question in there as well. Again, that takes a little bit longer to have a go at completing. Once you've then had a go at doing that, that's the end. That is it. That is your last reading lesson for home learning that you guys will have completed at home. Now, we will continue with this book up until the next half term, up until Easter. And then depending on how much of the book is left or we get read during our work every day at school, we potentially could start a new book, okay? But well done for completing all of that amazing reading that you've done at home. And we'll see how good you've learnt those reading skills when we come back to school on Monday. All right, well done, Year 5.